Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. I am Lucas Tietzen, and this is Blues News Media. And we are going to be talking about, of course, the thing that is dominating the airwaves. Once again, it's the coronavirus, but it has a new victim that it can tally up, and that is the leader of the free world. President Donald Trump has fallen ill, allegedly, to the coronavirus. I think it was Friday morning or something like that. Yesterday, the news broke that Donald Trump tested positive, and now there is a whirlwind of news media coverage all over this. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a couple of things that I think are going to develop out of this, and how it kind of plays into a bigger agenda. Because it is my belief, if Donald Trump really did have the coronavirus, he may not. I don't know. I'm not there. I just know what I am being told, which I don't always believe. If he really had it, they could have easily put that under the rug. They could have just not reported it. That's a really big tool in the tool belt of the mainstream media, of the complete rejection of coverage on certain topics. But this is being talked about, so it must, to some degree, play towards a greater goal, a greater agenda. And it's not only Donald Trump. Now that he has tested positive, we are seeing other people pop up. To start with, we also see this man here, the Missouri governor. I'm not going to lie, I don't know much about this man, but he fell ill to the coronavirus just right before Donald Trump did. It's interesting because he's also in a bid for re-election as well. And I am in the somewhat great state of Wisconsin, and this is my representative in the Senate, Ron Johnson. He just now tested positive for the coronavirus, along with, I think, two other senators. So now it played a big role of the Republicans played a big role in the coronavirus. They, at least in lip service, talked about, fighting back those lockdowns and how they are unconstitutional or not necessary. A lot of Republicans played to the whole thing that the coronavirus is a hoax, and I don't necessarily believe that, but at least they paid tribute to the idea of maybe, just maybe, the government really shouldn't have that power to either dictate medical practices or quite literally shut down the economy, which is going to have massive repercussions, especially going forward into the future, 10, 15 years from now. I mean, we may not ever recover from this. This is going to be detrimental, and it's probably going to cause a lot more pain and suffering than the virus itself. At least that's what I believe. But now that these Republicans are all at once, bop, 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 they're testing positive for the coronavirus, and we have been warned already that we are going to be having a very dark winter. The United States is going to have the darkest winter in modern history. They're talking about how with the cold and the coronavirus existing at the same time, it's going to be just massive, how they always paint it. Death, destruction, horror stories are going to start popping out. Maybe we'll finally see those people like in Wuhan dropping dead in the street. That might be coming to America. At least that's what we are being ramped up to believe, being made to fear. So I think this might do two things. Donald Trump might come out bigger, better, stronger than ever, and it will play to his whole shtick of saying that it's not a big deal. Coronavirus is nothing to worry about. Let's get America back to work and things like that. Or it could very much play into the role of the Republicans now saying, oh man, this is serious. This is really deadly. We are justified in all of the restrictions that we have placed on the American people, from shutting down the economy, putting actual lockdowns in place, implementing mask mandates. And maybe they'll get behind that and all the little bits of resistance we have been seeing. It's not many, but we have been seeing some resistance. Well, it might just disappear like that if the Republicans jump on board. And marching into the darkest winter in modern American history, they might dare do even more. Because as our dear noble leader, President Trump, has also stated, we'll have a vaccine hopefully by the end of the year, or at least in January of 2021. And it has been reported that they've said it won't be mandatory, but with some strings attached, like you won't be able to work, have your kids go to school, go to the grocery store, go travel, things like that. So in effect, you will be pushed out of society if you do not submit. So, I mean, in my opinion, it's either going to go one of those two ways. It's either going to invigorate the right and say, no, we got to stop this. And it's just going to put the two factions at odds even more, the right versus the left. So the left mostly being oh, this thing's terrible, we have to lock down, with the right being, oh, it's not. It's just going to create more friction, which of course will cause more chaos, especially in an election year. We're going to go over that in a little bit here. Or the Republicans are going to kind of cross the aisle and join their left counterparts. And then they'll have the full support of the federal government to go ahead and just walk over all of our rights. Either way, it is very scary, and it does not help the American people as a whole, at least maybe we should shrink it down. People that love liberty and freedom and self-ownership and self-responsibility, people that think that they can handle themselves, they will lose in this. But the people that adore Big Daddy government coming along and dictating our lives, well then, I'm sure they'll win, at least in their minds. But now that we have Papa Trump here, he's hospitalized. He's at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center because they say it's just a precaution. But now we're getting reports that it was actually he was given oxygen right beforehand, and they wanted to get him out of there before he worsened, and he actually couldn't walk to that helicopter that whisked him away. There's reports saying, oh, he's doing fine, he's doing great, there's nothing to worry about. There's lots of conflicting messages in the media going on right now. And this is just big conspiracy me going off here. But maybe, just maybe, this is their chance to, poison Trump, or take him out of the picture some way. Say he is anti-establishment and they want to kilt. That this would be the perfect chance to do it. Not saying that's going to happen, but it definitely could. And the only reason why I really think about this is because as soon as the story broke, Nancy Pelosi here didn't miss a beat. She came out and said immediately that the continuity of government is always in place, which is, I mean, if you don't know anything about the continuity of government programs, those are entirely horrifying, and I suggest that you look into that as well. But I mean, with a virus that has like a 99, maybe in Donald Trump's age range, 98% survival rate, for her to come out and say the continuity of government is always in place, it's always good, there's nothing to worry about, just kind of concerns me a little bit. It seems like it's prepping the public for maybe something greater. But I mean, that is just my my thought here. But we're gonna go ahead and read part of this article at least. It opens with, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Friday that the continuity of government remains in place following President Donald Trump's coronavirus diagnosis. Pelosi, 80, she's 80 years old. How much work has she had done? But she is second in line to assume the duties of the presidency, said on MSNBC that out of an abundance of caution, she was tested for the virus Friday morning, but has yet to receive her results. She said she had not been contacted by the White House about the subject of succession. Trump, 74, announced on Twitter after midnight that he and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for COVID-19. The president is experiencing mild symptoms of the virus, NBC News reported, citing a White House official. Vice President Mike Pence, who is first in line, tested negative Friday morning, his spokesman said. When asked on MSNBC if the White House had reached out to her regarding the continuity of government, Pelosi said, no, they haven't. But that is ongoing. Not with the White House, but with the military, quite frankly, in terms of some officials in the government, she said. Let us all just pray for the president's health, that thank God the vice president has tested negatively, and that the second lady as well, Pelosi added. So again, that continuity of government is always in place. The White House did not immediately respond to CNBC's request for comment on Pelosi's remarks. Asked about the president's diagnosis, Pelosi offered her sympathies, but also suggested Trump's attitude toward the virus could be instructive. And that really plays into maybe the right comes over to the left, and they kind of, boom, join forces. We all received that news with great sadness. I always pray for the president and his family that they're safe, Pelosi said. This is tragic. It's very sad, but it also is something that, again, going into crowds, unmasked, and the rest was sort of a brazen invitation for something like this to happen. And that is exactly why I think maybe, just maybe, Donald Trump comes out of this and he says, this thing's terrible. We need to take more extreme measures to fight this virus. Either way, however it plays out, this is definitely going to cause a little bit more uncertainty, chaos going into the election. And just thinking about it, I mean, you'd probably agree with it. You have each side, the left and the right, are just crazy mad. We can't have Biden because he's been in office 47 years and he hasn't changed anything, and he's just going to continue the march of big government. And then you have the left about Donald Trump saying, oh, he's a massive racist, he's an authoritarian fascist, and we can't have 4 more years of Trump. Vote blue no matter who. And they're at each other's throats right now. And with this virus going on, especially with Donald Trump getting it, I think this is planting the seeds for things that have already been wargamed, are almost predicted. And for that, leave you with a little bit of homework. If you do not know Whitney Webb, we need to start knowing Whitney Webb. She is a investigative journalist that works for the Last American Vagabond, another amazing site, but she also has her own website called Unlimited Hangout. I'm going to have links to these 2 article series in the show notes for you to please go and read. They're long, but they are just chock full of great information that you need in your arsenal. So please go and read them. But she wrote about 2 very incredible things related to the one was about the election, and one was about event 201, but the prediction of the coronavirus. And so I strongly suggest you go and read these. But definitely one of them was talking about how they ran simulations on election day, doomsday scenarios where the elections were canceled. They were canceled. There was like cars driving into voting lines, and I bet voting lines would be really big now if people go out to vote, if not just mail-in ballots. There's going to be massive like hacking attacks, and the election would basically be canceled, and there would be military martial law implemented to gang ordering control of the nation. And then there's another one here. I failed to pull it up here, but it talked about how there was more war games of saying if Donald Trump with the the Transition Integrity Project, which basically war gamed out if Donald Trump didn't peacefully transition from power, if he lost the election. There was 4 scenarios that were played out. I think one of them was like Trump winning in a narrow margin. One was contested. One was unsure, and maybe one was a slight Biden victory, and one was a clear Biden victory, something along those lines. But almost in all of them, they talked about massive chaos, lots of confusion, canceled elections or disputed elections, and military martial law. And, this all could be crazy conspiracy theory mumbo jumbo, or these institutions are wargaming it ahead of time. And it's not really conspiracy, it's planning, it's laying down the blueprints of what will happen and how they will respond, and predicting how the public will react to all of these things. So I think that's very important to keep in mind. I think this coronavirus positive from Donald Trump is the first seeds. We're like a month away from the election. That I think this is officially the planting or the sprouting of this actual prediction. And I think it's only going to get crazier from here. That is why I beg all of you to spread this information, share this video, subscribe to this channel, anything and everything that you can do to support this channel and support this work, support these articles, especially from other investigative journalists. Please do. This is the fight of our lives, the fight of our civilization, the future of humanity going on right here, right now. And you play the biggest role of all. You play the role of trying to mitigate it all, try to stop it all together. Because if we just kind of sit by and let all these things happen that are being planned for us, it's going to not just be a very dark winter, it's going to be a very dark future. So please do what you can, get prepared, stock up on food, water, ammo, get your friends and family involved sharing this information, or just saying, hey, I think things are about to get crazy. I think we need to get prepared. I think we need to have a game plan. Anything that you can do to protect yourself and your friends and family, that is good, honest work and is necessary and needs to be done. So, as always, please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, minds.com. You can find us on YouTube, BitChute, and Library. And just share this work. Please get it out there. We appreciate anything that you can do here. So, as always, thank you very much for listening. I'm Lucas Tietzen of Blues News Media. And if you take one thing away from this, hopefully it is this: ignorance isn't bliss.